Welcome back to part 12. In this part here, we are going to work on the credentials. Now, credentials is very important. Please do not skip this part. It's extremely important. So here I am. My server is running. pgadmin is launched, and my Postgres server is also running from the apps. I got them started. So in Visual Studio Code, I want you to just do not skip this part. It's extremely important, and I just want you to follow what I'm doing. Now we have Facebook connected, right? So basically I'm logged in here with Facebook. I've logged in with my Facebook account. So the reason why I want to show you this is because you can't be putting secret credentials, guys. This is not just Facebook. There'll be AWS credentials. There'll be a lot of credentials in the future. And you don't want to work with a team, and you don't want to be like not knowing how to do this, okay? You always want to put your credentials somewhere. So please go to config. Okay, first of all, go to config. And on config, you're going to see two files that I want you to remember. Okay, these were created for you when you created Rails. First one is credentials.yml.enc. ENC stands for encrypted. Credentials, obviously, that's just the name. .yml.enc. Okay, so this is extremely important. This is an encrypted file. Okay, so if I was to click on this file right now, you can't figure it out at all. It's just a bunch of like letters, numbers, symbols, and whatnot. And you'll never be able to decrypt this. This is where all your files, this is where all your secret credentials are, your passwords, your app IDs, all that stuff. Like right from here in Facebook, when you click My Apps, and here I'm going to click on on Pet Adoption, right? So this is the app that I created on the previous section in part 11. And so this is the credentials we're going to store. If I click on Settings and click on Basics, you'll see the app ID and the app secret. Now, this app ID and app secret, it's stored inside we already put it inside devise. We already put it inside devise.rb. Okay, so here we have the credentials file, and the master key is the key that decrypts credentials.yml.enc. So this is the key that does not get pushed to Bitbucket or GitHub. This never gets pushed. That's why in gitignore, you'll notice if you click on gitignore, you'll notice that this file is not being pushed. So how do you add the credentials that we got from, now I'm going to close config. Remember, credentials.yml.enc and master key are hand in glove, okay? So in the future, if you end up saving all your passwords and credentials, the only way to decrypt credentials.yml.enc is your master key. So never forget your master key. That never gets pushed to Bitbucket. Never, okay? It never gets pushed to Bitbucket. The credentials.yml.enc, it does, but not the master key. All right, so if you go to config initializers devise.rb, this is what we're going to be working on right now. Okay, this is what we're going to be working on. So we are going to replace this here with a way for devise.rb to get to the credentials, okay, to get to the credentials to be able to read the app ID and the app secret. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is I want to come back again to config and open credentials.yml.enc. I'm just gonna click on it. I don't like that it replaces the other file, but anyways, so how do you open this file? How do you put the secrets in that file? So there's a way to do this. So before you even get started, the first thing I want you to do is you need to literally install shell command path in VS Code. Okay, so how do you install? That's the keyword. Install shell command path in VS Code. Okay, so what you need to do is first make sure you're in VS Code here and click on View, and you can click on Command Palette. Okay, that's the same thing like doing Shift Command P. That's the same thing. You'll see the little greater than sign, okay? Or you can just click on View and click the Command Palette. Inside the Command Palette, you want to install, you want to type in shell command path. Okay, so here I have uninstall and I have install. So I want you, when you type in shell command path, so what command, as you're typing, it will auto-complete it for you. So just select the install code command in path. Okay, install code command in path. Okay, just trust me when I tell you this. Just click on that. Okay, so now that you've clicked on that, this has been installed. It says shell command code successfully installed. And the reason why it says code here is because code is the short name for VS Code. Okay, so if you were to using like not Nano, if you were to using like Atom, it would say Atom. If you had Atom open right now and you're working on your project with Atom, it would say install Atom. Okay, or Vim or whichever other text editor you're using. We're using code. So the first thing I want you to do is make sure that you stop the server. Okay, I had my server running. I'm going to type in clear. So how do you edit that credentials.yml.enc? There's no way to do it by just opening it. Okay, so obviously you'll see documentation where it says things like do Rails. Okay, and I want you to remember this, Rails credentials. I think it's Rails credentials and then edit, right? Well, no, that's what it is. And if you do that, the problem with that, of course, this is the correct command, but the problem with that is that if you do that, it will just open the file and close the file. It will open the file, save it, and close the file. Open the file, save it, and close the file. And when I hit enter, sure enough, now when I hit enter, what's going to happen is going to say no editor to open file in. And that's why we install the shell command in path. We install the shell command in path so that we can tell the shell command which editor to use in order to open the file. And here, another thing that we didn't do is the -- wait, because it says here bin Rails credentials edit. It says that you need to add mate is just the text editor. So it says here it's telling us exactly what to do. It's telling us first use editor equals mate, which would be for example, the text editor. We're using VS Code, or we could be using Atom. First run this, and then run the command, the Rails credentials edit. You don't need to put bin / Rails, and then you need to put that. So this is just self-explanatory. So for editors that fork, so basically it's just you need to make sure to add the wait flag. It's called the wait flag. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing again, but the only difference I'm going to do is I'm just going to say editor. I'm going to say exactly what they're told us to do. Editor. Okay, so if I learn how to spell, editor with caps. Okay, with capital letters equals to open and close quotes. Okay, and inside the open close quotes, I want you to type in. So yeah, it's code, right? It's code because we're using code. Code because that's a shell command that we installed in the path. Right, so edit. So what do they do here? Mate, and then and then put the wait flag -- wait, and then come out of the quotes and then put a space. All right, and then you want to do Rails space credentials because that's the name of our file, credentials.yml.enc. But you don't put yml.enc. Just say Rails credentials, and then followed by these two dots, one on top of each other, and you put edit like that. So once you do that, sorry about that. So once you do that, you just hit as you see here, you just hit enter. And now what that's going to do, it's going to literally open it for you and build what happened here? Don't know how to build credentials, edit, C. I'm not sure why this happened. Oh, all right, let's try it again. So editor. So it is supposed to be editor. So did I spell editor wrong? Editor equals yeah, I spelled credentials wrong. I spelled credentials wrong. So this is what I'm trying to say, guys. So always be careful. Like, don't ever give up. Don't ever give in. Always keep going. Always keep going. There's always a mistake made somewhere. With code, guys, that's why it's one of those things that people get paid more because you have to be extremely accurate. So then look how wrong I did this. So it's credentials, and then followed by those two dots. I don't know what those two dots are called, but whatever it is, I call it semicolon, I guess. There are two dots on top of each other, and then edit and hit enter. I've been doing it the whole entire time, and I don't know what the name of that thing. And then it will open a new, exactly. It's almost like it opens independently. That's why VS Code literally launches that, okay, independently. And the great thing about this file now we can see it. We can literally see the master key is literally decrypting this file for us. And that's why we can see it. Because previously all that scribble that you saw, it was all encrypted. So here it gives us an example of how to do things, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna follow that example. The only difference is I'm gonna put like a little bit, more into it. So here I'm gonna end up. Obviously, we're in development, so we're in development. So here they're saying, like in the comments, they're saying AWS. Okay, I'm gonna put development first. That's the only difference I'm gonna do. The reason why is because with development, Facebook app ID and Facebook app secret, this is just our development app. But in the future, we might end up like having to use a different app, and create another Facebook app with, that's going to be in production. So it's really good practice to also actually over here when we ran our command after the Rails edit to had even put a space dash dash. I think it's dash dash development. I think, and you can do another one with dash dash production. Okay, so but that's just for really big apps, and I really don't recommend it right now. So we can just use one credential key, and look, here we have development, and that's fine. Just use one credentials key, but don't be surprised in the future if you ever come into a project where they have credentials.yml in development and credentials.yml in production. So here we have development. Okay, and we're gonna just follow what they are doing. Hit the tab key again, enter in the tab key, and then I want you to type in Facebook. This is extremely important. You make sure you have to put the Facebook there. Hit the tab key and then hit enter, the tab key, and then we're gonna put the hold the caps lock key and do Facebook, right, underscore app underscore ID, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna come back now and like that, and then put a space. Come to Chrome, click on your app ID, copy that. All right, so come back to Visual Studio. Oh no, what happened? Anyway, just click on that first Visual Studio code and paste it in. And then you don't need to put any commas after that. You don't need to put any commas. Okay, so hit the enter key. And then here I want you to type in Facebook underscore app underscore secret. Okay, I'm just naming it like that. Facebook app secret. You can name it Facebook secret, but it's more meaningful like this, okay? It says Facebook app ID and Facebook app secret. Because later, you're gonna need to remember those names, okay? You're gonna need to remember how you named them. Facebook app secret, Facebook app ID with underscores and all caps. Come back to your Facebook app. I'm gonna type in a thing here. Hope I got my password right this time. I guess not. Incorrect password. Oh, because my caps lock is on. That's the last thing I need right now is wasting time on a password. And obviously I'm not going to edit all this here in the video. So copy all this, come back to Visual Studio Code. Now this is the Facebook app secret. Make sure you put a space there and paste it in. Okay. So once you do all that, so you got that in there, right? So what is the problem here? There is no problem here. It's fine. There's no need to put commas here. Okay, so right at this moment, why is this green? Another one is red. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I'm just thinking, would there comma be needed? I don't think a comma is needed. Is a comma needed? Okay, let me just open. Hang on a second. I don't think a comma is needed. A comma is not needed here, but let me just hold on. Let me pause the video. Okay, so I'm not sure. I think there's no commas needed. Just leave it like that. But if it doesn't work, we will know why. If it doesn't work, we will know why. Okay. So I'm gonna just Command S this to save it. And the minute you press Command S, it's not going to do anything because right now this is running independently through the master key. But the minute you close this, it's going to save it. Okay, the minute you close this, it's going to save it. I'm going to close this now. Watch what happens. Okay, now you see the terminal. What happened is here it says file encryption and file encrypted and saved. So now that you have done the credentials, we remember okay, so now we need to come back to the Facebook, go to config initializers device.rb, and we need to make changes here. Okay, we need to make changes. So we're gonna grab this first here. Okay, so I'm gonna close this, minimize it. So we're gonna have in here, we have to replace all this. We have to replace it and let device.rb know where to get it. So we have to go to the Rails application and then go to credentials file. Okay, so we're gonna go to, so I want you to highlight from the beginning of the code to the end of the code. This is where the Facebook app ID goes. Okay, Facebook app ID and then Facebook app secret. Okay, Facebook app ID goes here. So we're gonna delete this like that. And then I want you to type in Rails, so .application, Rails.application. Just make sure, I just woke up, so I hope I'm doing everything correctly here. Rails.application. Yeah, so Rails application dot, I believe it's, yeah, Rails application, and then we get a follow. I'm gonna go right to the Facebook, right? We're gonna go, the credentials file, like credentials, right? So credentials, and so Rails application, yeah. So that's normal. Rails application, credentials, and after that we need to go again into open close brackets, right? Those big brackets. Open close the big brackets, and in there we need to actually, yeah, we do a Rails environment, right? Rails.env. And I'm just trying to think of, we actually have to convert we have to convert this into yeah, we have to convert this inside into a to string. No, we're going to do to symbol. We need to change it to symbol because symbols are not immutable, right? So if we can't, we can use, of course, we can use the string, but it's strings are mutable, and they can be stored in many places in memory. So it's not really a good practice to use them for credential information. So always remember, and you can Google it in Ruby, difference between symbols and strings. So if we use a symbol, if we convert it into a symbol, oh boy, converting, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Yeah. We can convert into a symbol in here. Yeah, into a symbol, right? To symbol. We should always convert them into symbols because that's good practice. There's no point of using strings here at all. It's because it's already a string. It looks at it as or a number or an integer. But it is actually a string. It is actually a string initially. So we need to change it into a symbol. Okay. And then from there, we need to literally open, close another bracket and type in this Facebook, because that's where we're going. And after that, open and close another bracket again. Okay. And here we're gonna put the Facebook app ID. Okay, so hit the caps lock key. That's why I told you to remember it. Facebook _app _ID, like that. Okay, so Facebook and then Facebook app ID. Now after this, after the comma here, I'm gonna hit the enter key. And what I want you to do is grab from the beginning of Rails, credentials.env, to symbol, Facebook app ID, copy that, just to, not with the comma, just to the end of the bracket. Copy that, and I want you to select the first beginning of the comma to the end of the comma like that, and paste, do a Command V again. And here, instead of the Facebook app ID, we're gonna put Facebook app secret, because that's what I named mine. Secret, like that. Facebook app secret. Okay, now here you can actually do hit the tab key and come like that. Make it look a little better if you want. And here in the scope, wherever you see a break, you can hit the enter key like that. And you can wherever you see a comma, you can do that. But I usually just try to stay away from all this stuff. There's absolutely no point to do. You can do it all in one line. But so new command Z, because I don't want you guys to run into issues, right? So just I'm gonna come back all to the original. I just don't want you guys to run into problems. I'm trying to eliminate. So leave it like that, where you found it. Just leave it like this, okay? So just like that. After the comma, just put a break, and until you guys get comfortable, or if you're already comfortable, you can go ahead and organize it the way you want. I'm just gonna leave it like that. And do command S to save that. So this is perfectly fine. It's gonna work. Okay, it's gonna work. And in the future, if we need to edit the credentials.yml, we can do that by just running the same command in the terminal. So now I'm gonna do a Rails S. Okay, I'm gonna do a Rails S. So guys, this is extremely important to know how to do this. Don't skip this part, please don't. Come back to Google Chrome. I'm here in pet adoption. Everything is running. My servers are all running. Okay, I'm gonna do log out, and I'm successfully logged out. I'm gonna click on login again. Log in with Facebook, and now let's see if the credentials work. Credentials do work, so I'm gonna close that. Now, just to test again to make sure everything is perfectly fine, I'm just gonna refresh my users table. Now, I've already deleted. I was doing some experimentation earlier, so don't look at this and say, "Oh, where's eliasglyptis?" I'm just gonna view all rows. You're gonna notice behind your backs, I deleted my account and I redid it again. So now you are probably gonna have here your name with Facebook. So I'm just gonna delete eliasglyptis, who was created by Facebook with the Facebook account, and I'm gonna save it again. So just so I can refresh my database here, view all rows, and you're gonna notice eliasglyptis doesn't exist now in that database. So what I'm gonna do is come back to pet adoption app. I'm just gonna start from a fresh URL, localhost 3000, and it's gonna say login register. I'm gonna click register, and then I'm gonna click register with Facebook, and that should redirect me to Facebook. Successfully authenticated from Facebook account. Okay, perfect. So I've actually now been able to authenticate with Facebook. Okay, why? Because my credentials is working. And if I come back here and I refresh this again, view all rows again, you'll notice eliasglyptis now is inside the database, has been created. Okay, and now don't worry about the previous part in regards to this avatar. Of course, it's not working, and we have to actually use active record. Active storage in order to allow users to upload their avatar, and if they want, and allow users to, and if they don't upload their avatar, they can use Facebook avatar. And then, so the if-else statement in that helper I made, it needs to allow users to upload their avatar too. So that's why it's a good idea that we didn't work on it, because it would have been pointless, because we would have had to do it all over again anyway. So we'll do that probably in part like 13 or part 14. So now again, I want to come back to Visual Studio Code, and I want to stop the server, Control C. And what I want to do is over here, I'm going to do get status, and you're going to notice two things. The first thing you're going to notice is that the files that have been changed are these files, credentials and initializers. Of course, initializers, we actually edited initializers. And credentials, we've already edited as well. That's why they're in red. These are the files that you have changed. But it doesn't talk anything about the master key, right? Because the master key, if I was to push anything right now to Bitbucket, it's going to push credentials and it's going to push initializers, of course, the changes. And the master key is going to be left alone. It's never going to be inside. Because here, if you click to git ignore, you will notice over here in git ignore, when we initialized our git repository, in this Rails application, it already created the git ignore, and thankfully Rails was smart enough to write on the git ignore file to always ignore the master key. So if I do now here, I'm going to close get ignore. So I did a get status and I saw two files. So I'm going to do, I'm going to do the git add space period to add them. And then I'm going to do git commit -m open close double quotes configured credentials secrets file to protect our passwords, our secret keys, to protect our secret keys. And here I'm going to put part 12. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to do a git push. And once I do a git push, you're going to notice when we come back to Bitbucket, Bitbucket, and just I'm going to log into bitbucket.org. So now we can just log in, and over here I'm going to type in my email. Please, I hope autocomplete is on. Continue and log in. So inside of Bitbucket, you're going to notice in my repositories, please, repositories and pet adoption. So inside my pet adoption app, this is all branches. I'm going to click on my new master because that's I'm going to actually change new master to master. So configure credential secret file to protect our secret keys. If you click on the commit, you are going to notice that there is no master key here. All I did was the change. Remember, initially this was done in a really bad way because I was just doing the tutorial and I actually added a Facebook app ID and a Facebook app secret. And believe me, I've already changed those IDs. But just letting you know that the only thing in here, no one will ever be able to figure this out because this is encrypted. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you guys, and I'm so thankful that you guys are still supporting my channel. Please like and subscribe. I just want to let you know, liking and subscribing, that's how my channel gets supported, and sharing. So please just like and subscribe. And thanks again for your support. I'll see you guys in part 13, where we're going to create the dashboard or my account page here for the users who are logged in. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.